Hey there, welcome to this mini video on scheduling self-care. I'm so glad that you're joining me here, and I'm so excited to share some tips with you on how to make yourself a priority and how to make self-care just more of a non-negotiable in your life. So what I do recommend before I get started is to go ahead and grab yourself a pen and a paper to take any notes. I have some tips in here that are really great that I love for you to reflect on during the video. You'll have this recording so you can always come back to it if you want as well too, but it's always fun to do it interactively when you're on it and watching it too. So before we get fully started, I just want to go ahead and introduce myself. My name's Alicia, and I help overwhelmed and anxious moms and women find balance and joy in their busy lives with simple mindset tools, self-care tips, yoga, sound healing, nutrition, and essential oils to create long-lasting happy habits. Really, at the end of the day, all this stuff just ties in together, and it's so nice to customize it to your own personal needs of what works best for you when it comes to your self-care too. And I really just love helping women go from frazzled to fabulous, leaving the anxiety in the dust and unchaining that happiness within because you deserve it. So, this may be for you if one, you want to shift from overwhelmed and anxious to finally feeling balanced and free and peaceful, or maybe even if you're a mom who has just too much to do and too little time for self care. Or if you're like this and you're tired of screaming at your kids, you're overwhelmed and you want to connect at a deeper level, but you know that that involves connecting with yourself first so you can find that calm and peace from within. Or even if you feel weighed down and drained from those anxious thoughts that keep going on in your head, the constantly growing to do lists, of course, that are always there, and that little time for yourself. Or maybe you kind of have some balance, but you just want some more simple tools to help you make scheduling self-care simple, easy, priority in your life. Maybe you even do have some self-care, but you're like, I really need to up my self-care game because I know I need it at this time in my life, especially. So I want to first talk about some ways that stress affects a woman's health because this is why self-care is so important. Self-care is such a buzzword, of course, like do self-care, take that bubble bath, but it's not just always about that. It's really what works for you. And this is why. So when we get overly stressed, first of all, we raise our cortisol levels and then we start living in this like heightened state of stress that just causes so many physical and emotional health issues that we really got to learn how to balance that. And that is part of making that self-care a priority and letting yourself get that rest and that slowing down and that intention that you need. But some ways that stress affects a woman's health are depression, anxiety, panic attacks, which I've seen with so many friends and family members, OCD, heart problems, headaches, migraines, obesity, bowel problems, pregnancy and menstrual issues, and so much more. There's a ton of books out there, but there's one book that's called The Body Keeps Score, or other ones like You Can Heal Your Life. And they talk about how our emotional can come out physically, and really those tie in so much. And I think we're just learning more and more how closely those are related and how important it is to have stress management and reducing those overwhelmed things in our life, especially in this day and age when it's just a busy world and really finding that time. And it's not as simple, it's more of an intentional setting activity too. So some solutions, there's the 6 areas that come to managing stress, and those are physical, emotional, mental, occupational, social, and spiritual. So physical are those ones we always hear. Go get exercise in, do relaxation techniques like yoga, meditation, listening to some relaxing music, eating healthy, getting enough sleep, and scheduling self-care. Emotionally, that's where it comes to expressing those emotions. Sometimes we hold back and we don't know how to healthily express those emotions, and that causes a buildup too because maybe we don't have as clear boundaries or just different things going on in our life. And this also has to do with affirmations or doing activities that improve your self-esteem, like self-care, like boundaries, like all the things. The next is mentally, and that's having a positive outlook in your life with realistic thinking, not the toxic positivity where it's like I must be happy all the time or I'm failing. This is where it's like, okay, I'm having a hard time, but how long am I going to dwell in it and be able to process it and move on? Or how long am I going to sit in it? So having a realistic view in life, knowing that things can work out, but also letting yourself feel when you need to feel. This also includes being creative. And this is where I like to teach with women the self-evaluation skill set. where you evaluate different areas of your life in a non-judgmental way too. The next is occupational. This also, I said boundaries, is boundaries, setting goals that are easily doable, being aware of work-life balance. When I talk about the scheduling self-care and I talk about starting small, that goes on the hand of setting those goals that are easily doable. There's several books and several teachings that talk about setting just such a simple, small goal. Because when you can do that, you can build that self-esteem, and then you can set bigger goals, and you can set big goals. Even if you're like, I want to hydrate more and I know I should be getting 8 to 10 cups a day, start with 1 cup. I'm getting 1 cup a day. It's so simple and so easy, but it's a win too. The next is social. That's, again, boundaries, connecting with your friends. We are connection type people. Sometimes it's nice to have your own time, but also we need that connection with other people too. And that means surrounding yourself with loving relationships and maintaining those healthy relationships too. Next is spiritual, and that's finding things that bring you purpose and gratitude and being present in the moment, finding the good even in the thick of things too. So the definition of self-care, if you look it up, is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. So it's not like self-care is this specific thing that you must do, the specific task. It's what you're doing to preserve your own health. And that may be different for you than it is for someone else. And that is okay. And that's where this really comes into reflecting in what is going to help you on your own level. So why self-care? Anyways, why this buzzword? Why do it? Everyone says do it, but why? Well, one, it creates the healthy relationship with yourself. It helps keep you sharp, motivated, and healthy. It naturally just improves our mood and boosts our energy. When you're feeling yourself, that energy can just come. You ever feel that emotional drain and you just know you need to help yourself a little more? So doing that, it helps reduce us from becoming emotionally depleted. So instead of waiting until we've hit that level of depletion where we're like, I gotta help myself, do it before, the preventative, boosting confidence levels and better physical and mental health too. So what I'm going to share here is how to create an effective schedule. And this is where I want you to take some notes, especially if you took notes on the other stuff, that's great as well too. But I just want to share. So number one, what we do is we start by taking a look at our regular routines. What do you do on a day-to-day or week-to-week or month-to-month basis? And one question is, do you have a morning and an evening routine? So do you set those intentions daily, or do you roll out of bed and just get on with life and like go on frazzled? And it's okay. This is also where you're non-judgmental. Maybe if you don't have a morning routine, that's okay. You can always create one or do something that works best for you. Just something to set the intention, really those bookends at the beginning and the end of the day too. So taking a look at your routines, where you're at in your life, where you're at right now. And then you can do this by writing them down on a routine tracker like this. Like, this is my morning routine, this is my evening routine, even a daytime routine. If you get like that afternoon slump, sometimes it's nice to like take a little meditation out or go for a little walk, or like I got a little walking treadmill for my office because I know I hit that afternoon slump sometimes, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna either want a nap, or two, my mind's just going to kind of sit there and not want to like kind of function right. And so if I get up and get moving my body, even while I'm working, it can help me kind of step out of that slump that kind of happens from time to time in the midday as well too. So go ahead and write down any routines you already have, or if you don't have any like ideas that you might want. Like, do you want to wake up and express 3 things you're grateful for? Do you want to say some affirmations? In the evening, do you want to wind down and like read a book before you go to bed instead of like turning off the TV and going to bed and that kind of screen time? And there's studies that show that like when we have those screens and those phones and those TVs, it really actually doesn't help with our sleep quality. So turning the lights down like an hour or half an hour before bedtime, just things like that you would want to do if maybe you don't do them. Or if you already do them, write them down as well too. So step 2 is figure out what your non-negotiables are. So we all have different non-negotiables, and it depends on what's going on in your life. Do you have appointments you have to be to? Do your kids have appointments? And this can change weekly too. I actually evaluate my schedule weekly. Do you have a work schedule that you have to follow? Do you have just different things in your life that you must get done, and they are what you need to do in your day-to-day or week-to-week life? So this is where you can track that too. So writing them down and breaking them down so you kind of know. You're like, okay, like for me, Wednesdays we have dance, and on Tuesdays there's this activity, or I work these hours, or anything like that. So you know where it's at, and you can start breaking up and peeling apart where your schedule is actually sitting to find those gaps of time too. Okay, I want to ask you this. When you're thinking of those, did you think of self-care as a non-negotiable? Because we all should. Healthcare or self-care and our mental health is a priority. It shouldn't become this optional thing. It should become an essential. Like, I make the time for self-care because just like getting to this appointment I have to be at, this is just as important. And turning those self-cares into a, yeah, I want to do it sometime, into this is what I do. And that's where it comes into scheduling that self-care too. I'm totally guilty of even being like, I'm going to do something as simple as a face mask and setting it on my counter in my bathroom so it's right in my face. So it reminds me, and it's still sitting there for months. I've been guilty of that, where it's just like I always let something else distract me. And instead of prioritizing those kinds of things for me, I let myself get caught up and then, end up leading it to overwhelm and anxiousness and maybe even some snappiness and everything like that too. So step 3, this is where we're going to create a realistic schedule, something that you can actually do in your life. Because sometimes when we want to change things, we're like, well, I want to do this and I want to do this and this. And we put it all down, especially habits. And then we don't change them because we try to do it all at once. And then it becomes too much. And we almost just get so overwhelmed that it's like an all or nothing kind of thing. So creating a realistic schedule where you can start just putting it in one baby step at a time and finding those gaps in time, what's your routines, what's your non-negotiables, and what does your schedule consist of, and even in those routines, combining self-care into that too. So if you don't have a planner, this is a great page you can always print that I will share with you. You're going to be getting this recording in your email too, so you can also I'll send this planner, but having a paper planner or a phone planner, like your calendar on your phone, or like an app, or printing something like this, you can plan your week out and kind of see where you're at. So maybe your schedule is pretty consistent week by week by week, and this is simple, easy, kind of like this is what I do. Or maybe it fluctuates, maybe appointments and things like that change. And also maybe you're just at a time in your life. I had a point where we were seeing dermatologist, orthodontist, therapist, and all these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. There's appointments every second. But then it's also the reality of, okay, this will pass. It's not always like this. This is just where I'm at right now. So let's work with it too. So these are some self-care ideas that you can do. So when you're scheduling in that self-care into your weekly planner and thinking about it in your gaps of time, these are some ideas. And like I said, self-care is what is catered to you. Somebody may say, hey, a bubble bath and candles is my self-care and I love it and I can make the time and it refuels me. Somebody may say a bubble bath is a chore to me and I don't like that. I have a family member who likes to go riding up the canyon near their home on their side-by-side, and that's self-care for them, the connecting to nature and taking that time, and really helps with reducing stress and being intentional about that. But there are so many ideas and ways you can do it that work for you. I just wanted to share a few, and like different areas: physical, mental, emotional. In the physical world, dancing, that is so amazing. If you like to dance, or even if you don't like to dance, give this a try. But it actually has been proven to reduce cortisol levels. It causes your brain to release dopamine, which is a natural mood booster, and endorphins, which is a natural painkiller. So if you experience pain and it's like dancing feels like it's going to cause me more pain, it actually might not if you're gentle with yourself. And then even though it's kind of a form of exercise, it's also a relaxing activity that the body can release. And especially energetically, we build so much stuff up, and letting that move through our body, that's a great one that you can always do. Turn some music on and just dance. Go for a walk. Mentally, doing a project, journaling, watching the sunset, reading a book, emotionally, getting a good cry out. It's always nice to release that too. Go watch a movie that you know that's going to make you cry. Practicing yoga, using essential oils, setting goals, anything like that. So those are some ideas. Like I said, obviously there's so much more out there, and cater to what feels good to you too. This is also another great way to schedule the self-care when you are starting to do it. So as this quote says, the beginning is the most important part of the work. So you may be like, yeah, I want to do weekly self-care because I need to do that for my mental health. But maybe you need to just start with one time a month. Maybe you just need to have a baby step and do that. So having a schedule like this, you pencil it in, be like, on the 14th, I'm going to make sure this is a time I'm going to do something for myself. And then you can schedule it ahead, and you can also make that a clear boundary or priority even to your family and be like, hey, I want to do this thing, and I would love that if you all could help me respect the time, or maybe we can figure out what we need to do so that I can take this time for myself, and everybody's aware, so it's not like, okay, now I have a distraction too. So putting those in and using something like this too. And like I said, with the other weekly planner that I will be sharing, I will share this too if you want something like this to print off too. This is also another great way to do it at the beginning of each month, setting your intentions. So maybe you don't know what you're doing, but you're just like, okay, on the 7th, 13th, and 28th, I penciled it in, it's self-care day. You can write out self-care ideas so that way you can make it work. And then of course, our dates to remember for the month and our to-do lists for that month and things like that, so you can kind of see where you sit and break it down each month and prioritize that too. So step 4, I think this is the most important step. Of course, they all have to work together, but this is keeping the commitment to yourself. We have these times where we make these commitments and then we break our promises to ourselves. So really keeping the commitment to yourself, prioritizing it, making it an important part of your schedule as well. And I know it might sound like, why do I have to pencil like that in? But it is important to do it, because the more you start creating these times, the more they become the habit that they're just naturally involved in your schedule too. So keeping this commitment to yourself, like I said, even if it's one time a month right now, to make that a priority and to really start helping yourself too. Okay, so next I want to share with you some of the services I offer, just in case you're interested. And I want to go deeper into another one too. That's a really fun one too. But also this flyer is a flyer I share. So the self-care guide that's on here is actually the guide you're watching, the class you're watching, just so you know too. But first of all, I want to share about some Zen night outs I have. There are girls' night out events I have. So if you're local to Utah, the northern Utah area, this is a super fun event to come to. I do these quarterly, so they're in January, April, July, and October. And they're just a really nice evening of self-care, connecting, meeting friends, relaxation. So we come together as women, so women's only event. And we enjoy hydration drinks, and we do what I call connection circles, where we get to know each other and talk about what brings us peace. And then we do a mindfulness activity. So whether that's meditation or yoga or sound baths, we've done all the things. Sometimes it's a combination of them. We've even had a double sound bath or an interactive sound bath, different things like that. So it's just a fun little quarterly event that we do in Layton, Utah. So that's one. And then also in the Utah area, I also host Zen night outs too, or Zen events. So I actually come to you, whether it's your friends or your coworkers or your family, and you get to customize it. It's really fun. I could do the connection circles with you, or yoga, meditation, or a sound bath, or a combination of all of them, really whatever you want in the time frame you want. And so those are lots of fun too, to really just kind of take that time and get that little Zen time in your life as well. And then I have an 8-week self-connection journey for overwhelmed and anxious women. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this one, but this is really where you want to like transform and overhaul your life. And you're like just ready. You're ready to find some ways to balance your life with some simple tools that you can utilize long term to really reduce that overwhelm and that, just kind of chaos that sometimes we feel as mothers too, or women too. And then I also have local yoga events and meditation and different things too. You can always find them on my website at aliciaashley.com. I do online ones from time to time. when Zoom loves to help me because sometimes their settings change and it doesn't pick up background noises like sound baths and stuff like that too, where when you have the music stuff, it doesn't work. So when they work, I get them going and they're really fun. And then also I have a self-care planner, gratitude journal. So like I talked about having a planner, the self-care planner is really nice. They're both 90 days undated to schedule your to-dos and to prioritize your self-care. So it has that sheet in there where you're doing the monthly intentions, but then it's also a normal planner style, so you can like go day to day and write your to-do things, also what you're grateful for, and just top things of your day, so you can like have that mindset in it as well. And then the gratitude journal is also very fun and a really great way to shift your perspective or add into like a morning or evening routine. That one is also a 90-day undated. So whether you use it in 90 straight days or you do it when you want to, it's really fun. I actually like to switch up my morning routine from time to time. So some mornings I like the gratitude journal, and then some mornings I want to do like something else. So it's nice that it's undated. And it's really all about like reflecting on those bookends, like I said, what you're grateful for, what your intentions are for the day, coming back and giving yourself credit. Sometimes we have so much to do that even when we get things done, we don't give ourselves the credit. So giving yourself the credit, you can rate your day. There's habit tracking, all the things in it. So it's a really fun thing as well too. Those are all on my website, and those come in digital and print version too. So lots of options too. Okay, so what I really want to talk about is this 8-week journey for overwhelmed moms. And it's a really great program, like I said, if you're really wanting to overhaul, and in some simple tools and like tips to have the accountability to really help yourself. One, to manage your time and your emotions to tackle that overwhelming anxiety. Two, like I said, those simple tools. They're easy to implement tools. That's what I love. It's an empowering course where it's not like so crazy and unrealistic. It's something that you can actually do to really shift in an easy way and find more peace in your life. And just really shifting from negativity to feeling more happiness and joy, and then learning how to clear away that toxic energy that sometimes, we just get caught up in it, and really knowing what to do and have the guidance in that too. It's called the 8-week self-connection journey. And I really, like I said at the beginning, I have you take a self-assessment, a non-judgmental one of where you're at in your life. Because sometimes we don't realize like we're not getting enough sleep, or the different things in different areas of our life that we can really hone in on to shift. I also have small weekly action steps, like I said, that are bite-sized pieces, and they actually time drip. So this is an 8-week course, but it's got 6 modules. So that way, if you're overwhelmed or you want to focus on one module specifically for an extra week, you have the time. It's not like something to feel so rushed and overwhelming even more on a plate of already overwhelming. And that's the goal, is to make it not overwhelming. And even the videos are bite-sized pieces, just because life happens. Sometimes we only have time for a little short video before we can go on to the next one too. So doable tips, small videos. And then the next is to help you develop long-term habits. So when life happens, because it will, you can always go back to this too. So what to expect in it, there's the 6 modules like I talked about. There's implementation activities for real change to really embody it. That's in each module. Printable guidebooks so you can print it, take notes, meditations and sound bath recordings throughout it, so you can really find that peace. And you can come back to those anytime. That's what's really nice, is if you really like a specific meditation and you want to utilize it in your morning routine, it's there and easy to access. There's yoga videos in there, and just smaller ones where it's simple and easy to implement, journal prompts, and then of course lifetime access to it. And then you can also upgrade it too into an essential oil package, and that comes with everything I just shared. But what's really fun about it too is you get a tangible essential oil kit to you. So you actually get a set of oils that get mailed to you and a welcome kit. And throughout the course, there's actually oil tips for each week based on the oils in that kit to help you, because essential oils have actually been known to cross our limbic system to help our amygdala and our hippocampus. That's where we store, fear and pain and memories and all the thing, and really help us to heal and really help to literally calm the body too. So I love having the tangible tool to use also. So that's an addition. And then in addition with that, you get access to continued education classes, and essential oil resources. So even though this course is all about balancing emotions, essential oils have a lot of physical benefits. So you'll have access, whether it's oils for sleep, oils for emotions, oils for kids, oils for pain, or boosting the immune system, all the things. So you'll have access to all of that. And then, like I said, the usage recommendations for each week, and then 25% off of all wellness products too. So if you're like, I want more oils, or I want to like learn more about, sleep or whatnot, you can access it at any time too. So I have that upgrade too. So ultimately, when it comes to any of this, any of the things I offer to my customers, I really am here for you. I want to support and hold space for you. I want to really help you be accountable to yourself. And that's what I really love about this course is you're committing to yourself, and I'm here to help guide you in it. So that way it's like, hey, we got this, it's doable. You can do it. Hold energy for you as you develop these habits, and really just help you have a toolbox to have a more balanced life and enjoy it too. And so again, here's my social media handles where I share more tips and everything all about finding that peace and balance in your life and all the things too. And a little bit about this course too, if you're really thinking about it and you're really ready. First, ask yourself, how long have you struggled with overwhelm? And really, how long do you want to keep feeling it? Have you tried things and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I'm tired of feeling this and I just need something, Asking yourself those kind of questions. Does anxiousness affect your sleep, your mood, your energy, your relationships? Where is it putting you in your life and changing that quality of your life? Do you want to keep piling on the stress and let it continue to affect more areas? Or do you really want to find something where you're like, this pile up is coming down and we're going to have some peace too? Also, do you want to look back at when your kids were younger and wish you could have found a solution to help it? Because those memories are so important and time flies so quickly, and finding the time to create those special memories in a peaceful environment where we're like, oh, this is fun and more playful is so, so important. So if you do want to make a change, I don't want to not tell you the price. I don't like when I go and it's like, call me and then you have to figure it out. This is my pricing for the course too. I'm going to actually send you a code to get a discount off as well too. But if you want to make a change and you're ready to dive in and get started, the course is $333. That covers the 8 weeks, lifetime access, all the things I shared, the 6 modules and all of the things inside of it. If you want to upgrade it to the essential oil kit and get all those extra bonuses as well, it's $555. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram or email me. I'd love to answer anything if you're not sure what I'm talking about, or you need a little bit more clarity for it as well too. I'd love to chat, or even a Zoom chat if you want to. So that's a little bit. I hope this helped you just learn a little bit more about scheduling self-care in your life and really utilizing it. I encourage you to utilize this. Don't just like leave and not implement it, because sometimes that happens. We get excited, we want to make changes, and then life gets busy. You deserve it. You deserve the self-care. You deserve the peace. You deserve that priority and that time for yourself, because you're important and amazing. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.